Aye, episode 6 of V-Time. Welcome back.
Hi.
Yeah, we just did a box opening of Strife like you saw. Nothing major special, nothing too worthy to talk about. It was a fun little box opening.
Yeah.
But we do have news. Like a lot of them.
Very.
Like dear Lord.
Might be a very long episode.
I'm sorry. There are timestamps in the description. If you want to skip certain points, go to the timestamps. Thank you. Anyway, we're like always. Let's first cover the week's leaks. Hey, fun. All right, to start us off. Actually, wait. Did we cover this one last time?
Yes.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
And to start us off, we got some Gear Chronicle common leaks that actually are very fun, in my opinion. Like, you can build a side deck for Gears with this as the core and have some fun. So, there are 3 cards that were leaked. We're going to start off with the grade 3 card called Steam Expert Xerix. His ability is Auto Vanguard. When placed, this unit gets plus 10,000 power until the end of turn. That's his Vanguard ability. His Rearguard auto ability is when your Vanguard is placed, one of your Vanguards and this unit get power plus 5,000 until the end of turn. So it kind of buffs your Vanguard and buffs this guy, including that it's a Force Clan, so basically just numbers all around. Reason this guy's good? Lost Legend.
Yeah, it's just good overall. I mean, if you don't see your main grade 3, this is the way to accelerate your deck so that by the time your opponent's at grade 3, you're already at grade 4.
Worthy thing to note is, unfortunately, he does not have a marker, so you're not going to get that at least. But still, out of putting him on Vanguard, he gains plus 10,000 power, so your Vanguard at least can do something. And then as a Rearguard, like we said, because of Lost Legend, you use Lost Legend skill, you re-ride a grade 4 from your deck. That's being a Vanguard getting placed, so the Vanguard gets plus 5,000 to its already base 15.
And since it's a grade 3, it's going to help boost up this whole mechanic that Gear Chronicle is doing.
Yep.
And being at grade 3 while your opponent's at grade 1 is not a bad thing. You have defense.
Yeah, so this is a very interesting card to pick in. And then we have 2 more cards that kind of bounce off of him. We're going to go to Steam Fighter Ahane. Her ability is Act Rearguard. Once per turn, cost Counterblast 1 and bind a card from your hand. So binding cards, as we know, Gear Chronicle's main mechanic now. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the front row and put it on the bottom of the deck. Call a Steam Expert Xerix, so the grade 3, from your drop zone to rear guard. If you have Steam Fighter Memene on rear guard, you may ride it instead of calling. So basically, this is your kind of pseudo Ezel. And by the way, I'm gonna just jump into this right away before I talk about all the 3 of them. Steam Fighter Memene is a grade 1 that got leaked, and its ability is Auto Rearguard. Once per turn, when your Vanguard is placed, draw a card and discard a card from your hand. If you discarded a grade 3 or greater, 3 of your units gain plus 5,000 power until the end of turn. So what's happening here is they all combo off each other, so you can basically do a pseudo Ezel in Gear Chronicle. You have the grade 1 somewhere, you place the grade 2 on rear guard, and then you rewrite. If he's in your drop zone, the grade 3, you rewrite him to grade 3, and yada yada yada.
The only thing I don't like about this is if you're going to use this combo, you have to commit. Because it requires all 3 pieces in your hand at once when you do it.
Not really. Not only does it require all 3 pieces in your hand, it technically requires 2 of the pieces in your hand, the grade 3 in your drop zone, and something else to ride from grade 1 to grade 2. Because the grade 2 is not a Vanguard skill like the Ezel combo is.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ifs and ands and buts in this.
But if you get it off, you're set.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty much like Ezel is a little bit more consistent because of the way it plays. I mean, yes and no. We don't know yet because it hasn't come out in English yet, and we only got Japan and yada yada yada. Anyway, But this, honestly, I'm gonna put this in a category. This is in the same category as Ezel and Hamusuke. It's way too.
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, whoops. I blame Sol and Vanguard. He's a great channel, but damn, he messed my timing now up. Anyway, spoilers. We'll come back to that later then. Whoops. Moving on. When this got leaked.
First big leak.
When this got leaked, we blew up, and me and him got on polar opposite sides.
Mm-hmm.
One side talking, oh my god, the potential and how this can be used and why this is amazing, in my opinion. And the other side going,
way too much setup.
that is what you say. We're still gonna be bickering around this until we playtest and actual thing comes out and we see whatnot. But Oracle Queen Himeko.
The VR.
The VR. It has a force marker, and I'm emphasizing this for the VR. Again, spoilers for later. Her ability is Act, Vanguard, once per turn, cost Soul Blast 5. Put a critical trigger or draw trigger from your soul on the bottom of your deck, and activate that trigger effect for each grade of your opponent's Vanguard, one at a time. First, I want to say this is technically Soul Blast 6. Like, you're Soul Blasting 5 and taking another card from your soul, so you need 6 cards in soul. Now that I got that out of the way, two things that I need to mention. One, oh my god, this is amazing because you are activating the trigger effects one at a time. So you activate, for example, if you do the critical trigger, put critical and power to units you solely choose. Activate a second time, do it again. Activate a third time, do it again. You can essentially, most often you're going to do this trigger gains plus 10 in a critical, this trigger gains plus 10 in a critical, and my Vanguard gains plus 10 in a critical. But you can space it out. Depending on the situation, I can see some people going, okay, this is a big number, but this is a very, very small number, but triple critical. So what are you going to do? Okay. But my second point is, yes, Soul Blast 5, yes, it requires setup. But good sir, we have a grade 2 that can reduce the cost by 2. We have a grade 1 that can reduce the cost by Soul Blasting by 3.
Oh, that's not the setup I'm talking about, though. My setup is, this requires you to have either a critical or a draw on your side.
Aha. Shit. One of them is a spoiler because we haven't gotten to yet because it got actually leaked today on Saturday. But there is a grade 1 which works on place to put a card from your drop zone into your soul.
Yeah, that card's been linked.
Yeah, so you can set up. And it's a grade 1 and you can get that fast. Because if you have a critical trigger in your hand, you go, oh, that's just a small poke. Okay, guard. Call. Put this in the soul. I'm ready. I could just see spawn wrong. I'm ready.
Yeah, but I mean, like, consistently doing it over time, that's going to be very difficult to maintain.
Very. I say very, but I see it that honestly.
I mean, it has potential. I get it, yes, but at the same time, like logically looking at it, it requires a lot of setup.
See, for some reason, I'm getting messed up today by thinking of cards in my head that are leaked, but we're not covering yet. And damn spoilers, because like I said, you have a card that can reduce the Soul Blast cost by 3. And that's actually the card that got leaked with the VR, and it's Battle Maiden. Oh god, the name. Battle Maiden. Mihikarihime.
That.
There we go. On place, auto rearguard ability. When placed from hand, reduce the next time you Soul Blast by 3 until the end of turn. So yeah, reduce the cost. So you can place this. And Himiko's skill is already a Soul Blast 2 and put a critical or draw trigger somewhere. Oh, which I didn't mention for the draw trigger for Himiko. Sure, I'm gonna do for the draw trigger effect. Power, 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 and draw, draw, draw. So essentially, in that turn, disregarding other skills, this skill and the drive check, you're plusing 5 cards in hand while powering up your board.
I mean, if you know you're not gonna win, you might as well set up for defense.
Pretty much. Like, hey, big numbers, aha, and defense. Next turn, if I can do it probably I can. Criticals everywhere, why not?
So that pretty much sums up that leak. I'll cover the next one since I'm mostly the big fan of Great Nature in this set.
You say this and I'm going to build the damn thing too.
I know, but I want to cover about something. I want to talk about something. So
Fine. Go.
So this one's not really too special, but it's a nice card to add to the family of it. It is... what is the name of the guy again?
Dual knowledge base more on new. Whoops, nope.
Yeah, that's not the name.
What is? I think that is the name.
Heavy Brain Molmadon. Yeah, that's it. Act, Vanguard, cost, Counterblast 1, and Soul Blast 1 grade 3. Until the end of your turn, all of your units in the front row get power plus 10, and your opponent cannot intercept. It is not once per turn. So you can activate this multiple times and give multiple instances of 10,000 to your front row.
I'll tell you one reason why I see a lot of Great Nature players playing this. Great Nature is an Excel clan.
Mm-hmm.
Doing this multiple times means you've run grade 3 multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Which means multiple Excel circles.
Yes.
Which means in a YOLO situation, throw down all your triggers. Use this skill. Even if your opponent gets a defensive trigger, you're still good.
Mm-hmm. Basically, each time you do this, you say each defensive trigger is the amount of time you activate.
This is basically a front trigger whenever you want it.
Yeah, on top of whatever trigger.
Whenever you want. You need a grade 3.
And then you can also stack any other triggers on top of that. So I think it could be used. Maybe one or two of.
This is the elk. This is elk.
Mm-hmm. Next up.
Dibs.
Go ahead.
It's a rare 4 Gear Chronicle. Steam Mechanic Naboo. Auto rear guard. When it attacks a Vanguard, cost, bind a card from your drop zone, and your opponent cannot call grade 1 or greater cards from his or her hand until the end of the battle. At the end of the battle, put this unit into your soul and draw a card. This is amazing in a few aspects. One, it binds from drop zone. You can pick anything. So let's assume you already did one of your Lost Legend turns, wrote a grade 4, and then that grade 4 got retired. Your opponent went to his turn, attacked, you got it, it's back to your turn. Cool. Call this... No, wait, I'm messing up the... never mind. I'm messing up the timing a little bit just because it says when it attacks a Vanguard. Either way, you have something in your drop zone that you want to bind, a high grade to get that some conditions off, or something else that can work off a bind zone or whatever.
This, in my opinion, is a great early game card. Because
Very.
one, it sets up bind, it replaces itself, and it builds up your soul in case there's cards in a Soul Blast.
And draws your card. Basically replaces itself.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great early game card.
And it's a guard restrict.
Yeah, for late game, yeah. It's still a guard restrict late game, so even then it's not bad either.
See, again, future stuff we're going to actually cover on this episode, but I can't talk about it right now, because guard restrict, at first, when Gear Chronicle got introduced, and a lot of guard restrict got introduced, we were like, well, cool, but it's still a Force Clan, and the guard restrict is not actually a good guard restrict. It's not, we didn't know what was happening. There's a card that got leaked. We're going to talk about it later. Guard restrict is really good now.
This man's going to have a... probably a good 10-minute rant about this card.
Spoilers. On to the next one, though. This is a very, very, very fun card.
This, I could see some fun build being done.
I'm going to play it. I'm just going to play it because of... We play tested this. I play tested the rough version of Genesis just to get a feel of it. And he played tested a rough version of Great Nature. Basically, because of that damn Leopold, his field was full. Although... I later realized, wait a minute, you have about 7 rear guards, good sir. And all of them are useful to you, aren't they? Well, what if I did this effect that says, oh, and it's a great one, by the way. Which of Frog's Melissa? Melissa, yes. Whoops. Auto rear guard, when placed from hand, cost Soul Blast 3. Your opponent looks the same number of cards from the top of his or her deck as the number of his or her rear guards, calls them to rear guard with a unit, and shuffles the deck. Your opponent's abilities cannot activate due to this call. Fun! There is one question though. Because it says call. Okay, no, it says call them to rearguard with a unit. So it's not. I look at top set and I start calling one by one. No, I look at top X and I call all of them to all of the units.
It essentially gets rid of their entire board for a new one, and also is a fun. Now, Vanguard miraculously now has a fun mill mechanic, which is actually quite interesting, especially for decks like OTT that likes to draw.
Okay, look at this extreme example I'm gonna put out. He, for example, like he's had 7 rear guards. Okay. I'm gonna call this thing that says reduce the cost of Soul Blast by 3. I'm gonna call this thing -7 to your deck. Your board goes away and you get random, so most likely triggers go away. I'm gonna call this thing that reduces the cost by 3, or maybe I activate this ability that reduces the cost by 2. I'm gonna call another one. That's already 14 cards. I'm just gonna call another one since I have it, and Soul Blast the actual 3 since I can. Another 7. That's 21 cards out of their deck. Like just
almost half.
Almost half.
And late game, that's can deck them out. So I mean, like I said, I could see this being run just for the fact.
Pretty much, it's fun. It is really fun.
All right, on to the fun one.
You mean the hamster?
You mean Hamtaro.deck?
Taro deck. So yeah, most people probably already saw Solomon Vanguard rant on this, and I can actually agree with him a little bit, and I can disagree with him a little bit. Like I see why, and I also disagree, but that's to each their own. Yes. I respect his opinion, and hopefully he respects mine. Anywho, take it away, Alex.
Alright, so we'll start with a grade 1. Pencil Squire Hamsuke. Continuous rearguard, if you have a Vanguard, is Pencil Hero Hamsuke. This unit gets power +4. Pretty good. Hits numbers. Auto rearguard, at the end of your turn, cost Soul Blast 1, put this unit into your soul, search your deck for up to 1 Pencil Knight Hamsuke, reveal it and put it to your hand and shuffle your deck. So what does Pencil Knight Hamsuke do? Continuous rearguard. If your Vanguard is Pencil Hero Hamsuke, this unit gets power +3. Continuous Vanguard. If at the end of the battle during the battle that it attacked, if you have a Pencil Squire Hamsuke to grade 1 in your soul, it gets power +5. It's okay. The big thing is it's set up for this guy, the big grade 3. Auto Vanguard, when placed, if you have the grade 1 and grade 2 in your soul, cost discard 2 cards from your hand. You get an extra imaginary gift Excel circle. Search your deck for up to 1 of the grade 1 and grade 2. Call them to rearguard and shuffle your deck.
Okay, so the bad, which already got covered, is it's too specific and it's not an actual ride chain, and you can't pull it off. The probability of pulling it off and the ratios in the deck are not good, and you'd just be wasting space to try to pull it off.
Here's my thing with this. And
I was gonna go but I guess he has it.
This, in my opinion, has the same ratio and probability as, say, Ezel. It requires at least 2 cards. In this instance, it requires the grade 1 instead of the grade 2. And it requires you to have the grade 3 in hand. If you do get it off, I mean, you can just use the grade 1 skill, get the grade 2, ride it next turn, and then you already have the soul set up for the grade 3, and then it instantly gets aborted for you. But it does require that. But as people are arguing about this, saying that it's unlikely, you can say the same thing about Ezel. It's very unlikely for you to have the grade 2 and the grade 3.
So the thing I completely agree with that, and there's another thought you got to think about. I don't know okay, maybe he did say it in the video and I just didn't pay enough attention, and for that I'm sorry. But the way the calculations worked, they might have been getting the cards, specific cards in your hand and pulling off the effect. Well, looking at it from a mulligan standpoint, right, straight off mulligan standpoint, if you're trying to get the grade 2 in hand, you're technically playing it already wrong. A good strategy to do is, if you, on your first 5 draws, see a random grade 1, see this grade 1 hamster, and see the grade 3 hamster, you essentially don't need a grade 2. You literally just put back cards that you need or want or triggers or yada 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 and search it out. For example, again, if you have this grade 1 and a random grade 1, you can risk a biscuit, I guess, and spread cards back and hope you draw the grade 3 because the grade 1, you call the random one on the Vanguard, ride the random one, and then call this one. At the end of the turn, it'll go to Soul and give you a grade 2 for next turn to ride. Thus, putting the grade 1 in Soul, you have to ride the grade 2 hamster, which means you just need the grade 3 and at some point. And by that time, some turns have passed. Draw triggers, attacks, drive checks, and all that. You're gonna ride the hamster. If you have him, you're gonna ride him. You have the conditions met, and you do it.
I mean, honestly, the payoff having 2 Excel circles, we tried playtesting this already. It throttles you so far ahead of your opponent with Excel circles that it's really hard for your opponent to keep up.
And it's not like your hand's gonna suffer because you have multiple Excel circles but nothing to call them. Like the cost is ditch 2. We can ditch 2 useless cards because this thing already calls both the grade 2 and grade 1 to rearguard from your deck.
And the grade 1's just gonna replace itself anyways with the grade 2 in your hand.
Exactly. So you're filling. Worst case scenario, you don't have real good units. You're filling up those Excel circles with the same ability. And there's another thing you honestly have to keep in mind with this ability. 1, the grade 1 searches out the grade 2, and the grade 3 searches out the grade 2 and grade 1. You are technically deck thinning. And what's our saying?
Deck thinning is deck winning.
Yeah.
I do see why people are saying if you don't see it initially, you're going to bust. But I don't think so. Just because, say you do get grade 2 and you have the grade 2 on Vanguard, you can still call the grade 1 out afterwards and put it into your Soul Demon turn and still have the setup when you ride.
Like, it's decent. It has its good and bad points.
And
it's literally just play styles. Because I can tell you from a Murakumo standpoint, I've had, let's see, Rider Esther, yeah. Rider Esther, the guy that says, kind of best to put a card from your hand and then your opponent's Vanguard can't stand if you have Zambuco and get. People that play Murakumo understand. Before I even got to grade 3, I only had 1 Rider Esther in deck. Like, stuff like that's gonna happen, of course, it's the game. You might honestly see all 4 grade 2 Hamuskes out of the deck. What are you gonna do now?
This is actually in better ratios than you think it is. If you think about Tank Mouse.
Oh yeah, Tank Mouse.
Because if you use any of the early game mill skills and use Tank Mouse, you can actually search out the combo pieces off of that before you get to grade 3.
But see, yes, I agree with that. And then this falls under the same problem of you have to have that unit. Like you have to have this unit, you have to have that unit, you have to have this unit. And while you're listing all the units you have to pull this off, you don't have space for an actual hand size.
Yeah, I'm saying that I can see like why people are disagreeing with it and why people are like me are agreeing with why the payoff's good.
Like it'll depend on your playstyle and how much biscuits you want to risk.
Speaking of risking biscuits,
shut up, my turn. First, I want to say I was wrong.
He was very wrong.
Yeah. So, International Dragon. Mystery Flare Dragon. Yeah, the beauty. It finally got leaked.
It doesn't have a force marker.
Fudge. Like, okay, I completely agree what they did. Because having a force marker, ride the Lost Legend. Skill, ride this. I already have 2 force markers. End the turn, ride the Lost Legend. Hey, 3 force markers. Here you go. What?
Yeah, that's honestly the amount of the skills that are on this completely make up for the lack of a force marker.
So, skills. Like we saw with the last grade 4 in Gear Chronicle, it had an interesting way to do its skills. Well, guess what? This thing almost has the same. Because its skills are, and sorry for my voice cracking, Auto Vanguard, when placed, activate all of the effects below according to the sum of the grades of the face-up cards in your bind zone. So, if the sum of cards in your bind zone is 3 or more, this unit gets drive +1 until the end of turn. So they're doing the old Gear Chronicle goodie.
So it gets basically a stride effect. It becomes a generic stride.
And it's only 3, so 1 grade 3 in bind zone is already there. Anyway, continuing. If the sum of grades of cards in your bind zone is 7 or more, this unit gets critical +1 until the end of turn. Now this is where the things get spicy. If the sum of the grades of the cards in your bind zone is 13 or more, 6 of your units get power plus 10,000 until the end of turn. This makes 20,000 columns.
So your whole board gets power plus 10, so it becomes an elk.
And there's another 10 because of the force marker somewhere. And lastly, yes, I said lastly, because everybody knows what Mystery Flare Original did. Hey, guess what? It's happening again. If the sum of cards in the grades of the cards in your bind zone is 19 or more at the end of your turn, discard your entire hand and you get an additional turn. You cannot ride during that turn.
This is different than Zanbaku, for anybody who's already thinking about this. Zanbaku says at the beginning of your opponent's ride phase, they cannot ride. This says you cannot ride at all.
During that turn.
Yeah. So that means you can't even use the grade 3's act skill to even get a grade 3 out of your 4 out of your deck.
Now I already see something happening. People are probably gonna misunderstand this and misword it or try to abuse it. Like I honestly I don't know until I see an official email from Bushiroad telling me what this actually means. I have no idea if this means ride phase. I don't know if this means an entire turn. It could mean, most logically, I would say it means the entire turn.
It does. It means the entire turn. Because Zanbaku specifically states ride phase.
True.
So this means that you're going to be stuck on that Lost Legend.
Oh, no. Lost Legend says ride a grade 3 from your soul. You don't have to rewrite Lost Legend, good sir.
Or that's during the end phase. That's not during the extra turn.
We talked about it says at the end of your turn.
Yes.
So you have this lingering effect. Lost Legend skill is at the end of the turn, rewrite a card from your soul.
Yes.
That's a grade 3.
Yes.
So all of these will trigger at the same time.
Yes. But then the next turn, you cannot use the Lost Legend skill to get another grade 4 out of your
No, yeah, I agree with that. But I'm saying it doesn't have to be Lost Legend that you rewrite.
Oh, yeah.
Boy! This man.
But I will say, unless they errata this, there is a possibility that this card is going to get a huge errata, just because the wording at this moment says all of these skills except for the last one, it gets until the end of turn. So say you were to actually hard ride this card, it will gain all of these skills. Yep. Well, the last skill does not say until the end of turn. So during your next turn, you still might have the extra turn clause. So you might be able to get multiple extra turns. It's probably going to get errated to not say that, but it's a note to say at the moment it does not say until the end of turn for that skill.
I think someone's going to get mad at us and actually write in the comments, no, you're wrong.
Like you said, until Bushiroad officially comes out and says something, honestly, this is how it can be interpreted.
I just say it's common sense, and there's probably somewhere in the rules. I'm just too lazy to find them.
Well, I just know because other card games have like.
Good, so this is Vanguard. If you're speculating this off of other card games, I'm gonna tell you right now, no, it does not work like that. This is Vanguard. Vanguard has weird rules that they sometimes don't follow themselves, but they at least try to stick to them and do the best of their capabilities, and this is one of them.
We'll see.
Okay.
We will see. The Bushiroad will probably either by the time this comes up or shortly after this goes up, there will be an official rulings for this card.
Yep. Now cover the card that got leaked.
Alright, so there are 2 cards that got leaked today, as of tonight.
Okay, before this man messes up something, show me which 2.
This Genesis.
Correct.
And the Armored Bison.
Was this leaked today?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
How do you know?
It's not on Black Rose's side at all.
Just because it's not there does not mean that it's been leaked today.
We haven't covered it.
Exactly. It could have been leaked like 3 days ago. It could have been leaked 5 days ago. It could have been leaked last week and we just missed it.
We're going to talk about it regardless.
Exactly. Be specific, good sir, because then...
Well, I'll go ahead and cover the Great Natures and I'll let you cover Genesis.
Shit, I got to pull up Genesis. Okay, go.
So, Armored Bison, Armed Instructor Bison This is the double rare Excel marker grade 3. Probably the one that people might run over Hamsuke if they don't really like it. It's a pretty good effect, I'll give it that. Auto Vanguard Rearguard. When it attacks, cost Counterblast 1, and one of your other rear guards gets power +5 until the end of turn. If this unit is on your Vanguard, you can stand that unit. So...
It's a backup grade 3. It is a good backup grade 3.
Exactly. And it gives extra pressure, more rear guard attacks.
And it gives power to an Excel clan. Like I said, like I keep saying, Excel clans, if they can get power to their rear guards, you basically throw out those front triggers and put in crit triggers because you don't have to worry about it anymore and just be a threat.
And that's pretty much it. You might run, I'd say probably run one or two of these. Unless you really don't want to run the hamster combo and then you just run forward it and forward.
Honestly, as much as hamster is... I'm not a big fan. I'm just going to say that. I'm not a big fan of hamster. When it was before in G Series and the bullshit that was happening, I wasn't a big fan. I'm not a big fan right now. If it starts stopping, if the meta is nothing but hamsters, maybe.
Rigorous playtesting will probably much...
My point is, my Great Nature deck, when I build it, is most likely going to have Leopold as a main, this as a really good support, and the other grade 3 to buff.
I can see that. I mean, it depends. If you really want to push for pressure in early game, cool.
Yes.
Risk the hamster. If you really want to try to go for more efficiency, go for this and the other guy.
If you can get consistent power to your riggers in an Excel clan, chuck those front triggers away, put in crits and be a threat. Because not only do you have more than 3 attacks a turn, they're all more than enough to hit. Put the crit trigger on one of them, look at yourself, be a threat.
Alright, so you want to cover the Genesis?
Yes. Butchering weird names.
Oh.
So this is also grade 3 and it's a double rare. It just got leaked. I'm assuming this got leaked at the Character Expo.
Looking at the background, I would say that is true.
Yeah, but continuing, it is a grade 3, it has the force marker, 13k base like always, yada yada yada. Eternal Goddess Ivanagahime. Damn these names.
That's a mouthful.
Yes. Anyway, her ability is very interesting. Act, Vanguard, Rearguard, once per turn, cost, Soul Blast 3. Draw a card, put a card from your hand into your soul, and increase this unit's power by 2 times of the shield of the card put into your soul until the end of the turn.
Oh, I misread that.
You misread that.
I didn't know it was 2 times. That makes it a really spicy card.
Basically, this is a very good support to the already existing stuff we have in Genesis. Reason I'm saying this, if you have to ride this on Vanguard, you do the effect Soul Blast 3. You can either do the Soul Blast 3 or reduce the cost with a great one, whatever. You draw a card and put a card from your hand into your soul. So this is set up for later with the crit triggers and draw triggers and Himeko. It kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It kind of fixes your hand in a sense, because you draw a card and ditch a card, in a sense. But the spicy thing is, because it's a Vanguard Rearguard skill and how it works, let's say you want to set up for Himeko next turn, or you already are on Himeko, put a crit trigger in here, so I'm ready for Himeko's skill, and this unit gains plus 30.
Put a heal trigger, gets 40.
Yep, that's gonna get very big numbers. And then use Himeko's skill if everything goes according to plan. Give it 10 more. Actually, honestly, at that point, if I know my opponent doesn't have a perfect card in hand, cool, I'm gonna put this crit trigger plus 30. I'm gonna use Himeko's skill plus another 30. So that's already plus 60 triple critical on one unit.
I mean, if you put a heal trigger, that's 40.
I'm saying crit trigger just because of setup.
Oh no, but you could actually use Himiko's ability all 3 times on it.
True. That's what I said, plus 30.
It'd be 7. It'd be 70. Well, if you do a heal trigger, it'll be 70.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm a math major. I know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the one building this, not me.
Anyway, but where was I? if for some reason we didn't get any guard restrict in Genesis, did we?
Not to my knowledge.
Good, because then it'd be broken. Yeah, if a common or something that hasn't got leaked yet just introduces guard restrict out of the blue, expect Genesis to start topping in a weird way. Just because if you pull this off, big number, big criticals.
So this man earlier said something it might be controversial to you guys, that he might not be running the Artemis chain.
The way Genesis is structured right now is you can run the Artemis chain. It's not going to benefit you.
His opinion on Artemis is probably about his same opinion of Hamsuke.
Like, you can build a deck around them, but you need to build a deck around them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Artemis is all fine and dandy, the right chain. There's a couple of problems with it. You need to build it around it, because if you're trying to play Himiko, you're going to really have to work on soul management and rearguard management, because Artemis is real good when you have all the three pieces. Like, if everything has a gauge, godly quick gauge, if everything's going according to plan, you are gonna get bullshit stupid because of the triggers activating, getting units, the trigger effects, the same ones as the Vanguard. Everything will go smoothly, and your rear guards are gonna get protected and even get big defenses. Like the grade 2, if it just has a godly quick gauge underneath it, is already just a 25k with the Artemis grade 3 on Vanguard. Like, it has potential. Problem is, it doesn't combo off with all the other Genesis main finishers, yada yada yada, well. Like, if someone finds a good ratio and a good way to combo it off, go right ahead. But for right now, I don't see it. I honestly don't see it. It's just clashing. What I am probably going to do is build 2 decks, most likely, just for fun. Like, I have 2 Murakumo decks. Zanbaku main, and then the other guy that I forgot. Not a point, but a deck around him, and it's also fun. Same with Genesis. But most likely my main Genesis deck is going to be Himiko as the Vanguard, or the main unit. Maybe 3 of this, and maybe 3 of the other grade 3 that doesn't have a marker. The one that says, look at top 3, put a card from there in their soul, and put the rest on the top of the deck in any order. Like, that stacks the deck. Like, you can do some great combos with these 3, just these 3 grade 3s. So that's my opinion on it. And the same can be said for Great Nature, like we said. Like, you don't have to run the hamster, but if you do run the hamster, you're probably just building the deck around the hamster.
The good thing about these, like, unlike the Q4 booster, you actually have different build styles for people. So it's a nice diversity for the sets.
It's gonna be very fun either way you look at it.
Not gears. Well, maybe. Let's see more.
No, you could, because there's that common grade 3.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We talked about that earlier.
Like, literally, the Answer Truth just introduced a completely new category of 3-unit main deck. Hamster, the common Gear Chronicle guy, that's an Ezo clone, and Godly Quick Gauge. Yeah. Like, the cards that kind of did something into the clan, but never really got any other support around it. Like, when Leopold's skill and others like that got introduced, like, you did get 3 main units that did the skill, but you also got other supporting units that benefited from them. Like Zebra gets +5 for every time you mill a card. The grade 1, they let you counterblast 1 and grab the mill card. Like, they got the supporting stuff. You don't see nothing that says, hey, if this thing is not a hamster, but if you do something with the Hamuskes, you do extra stuff. You didn't see nothing for Godly Quick Gauge, like, hey, if this other unit, I'm not an Artemis unit, but if this other Artemis unit has a Godly Quick Gauge, do this. No, you just saw the Artemis just kind of bounce off each other. Same with the Gear Chronicle one.
And one of them's even a non-hit, so it's really hard to pull off.
Yeah, we were playtesting, I'm like, this is on a hit. I'm going to sneakily attack with it first. Maybe he's going to let it pass. Nope, okay. I'm going to sneakily attack, is that on Vanguard? I think it's just
a free guard.
Yeah. Sleekily attack this free guard. Oh, he let it hit. Now I can gauge it. But now that I gauged it, it's not important because the Vanguard hasn't attacked yet and drive checks haven't happened. Timing. Like, it's weird.
It's really hard to pull it off. It might have likely when you played.
Yep.
It's great at the part it is. So that pretty much covers the leaks.
Oh, that grade 4. Like, and I'm gonna come back to this. Like, 20k columns plus the force markers, and one of the columns is split taking in 30k.
Mm-hmm.
3 drive checks. The Vanguard is a double critical, and you get an extra turn, maybe.
I mean, it's good.
Good.
It takes a lot of setup to get there.
Well, from the cards we've seen, you play this right and smartly, you can get to 19 by stride 2.
Oh yeah, stride 2, yeah. But again, like the setup.
But even with the setup, now all the guard restrict cards make a shit ton of sense. Like, you're getting gigantic numbers on all these units. You plop down the card that says your opponent can max guard with 3 cards. If they don't have, like, the right number, they're getting hit. And then the guy that says grade 1 or greater you can't use. If they don't have enough triggers, oh, they're getting hit. Like, all the guard restrict now makes sense. And it's OP.
Well, I think we only have one more triple rare. Yeah. Genesis is going to have one more triple rare. More
Or
likely.
Gear Chronicle. It can happen. Or Gear Chronicle.
More than likely it's Genesis. It's going to have another triple rare. And then all we have left for the double rares is the Draw PGs. And that's going to be pretty much the set. Might be a few more rares or something that pop up here and there, but expect to see really, after this week, we're probably going to see
we'll play testing a lot. We'll be play testing a lot.
that, and we're also going to start seeing leaks from the high school booster, so...
And trial deck. Like, every time I need to remind you.
I include those in that, thank you.
I didn't say them.
Whatever. We're going to start seeing Murakami, we're going to see more OTT, more Royals, more Golds, and new Batama.
Yep. Now I want to just open this real quick just because it happened and I want to mention it. This man actually got the top 8 in ARG.
And I did say in the video, or previous video, if I made it, we will see a deck profile soon. So you will see a deck profile very shortly of the deck I used.
And you're also going to see a deck profile from Murakumo, the thing I would have taken if I went to ARG.
And the very nice playmat I went with it.
I am going to see the playmat and gameplay videos. Like, our next goal for videos is Dark Critical deck profile, Murakumo deck profile, and hopefully the two fighting each other.
Oh, and a Royals and Kagero profile update. Unless you really want to do that.
I mean, you can do, honestly, he can probably do his roles just because it's actually irrelevant. Like, Exculpate, in my opinion, in Royals is actually a good add-on, another finisher, and it really doesn't mess you up with your decks and what your deck does. Like, if you have them and you do them, you're just benefiting.
Yeah, true.
On the other hand, Nouvelle, like I said in the previous unboxing video, you gotta build a deck around Nouvelle then. And then you don't have space for Waterfall, really. Because if you're still running Waterfall, why are you running Nouvelle? Like, Nouvelle is all fine and dandy. His skill is actually pretty good. Like, nullifying triggers. You prevent your opponent from actually getting buffs from those defensive triggers. And your rear guards are more than guaranteed to hit. But, you know, plus 20k and -1 drive. Your opponent just says perfect guard in that Nouvelle turn is like, yeah, nothing happened. It's really anticlimactic when you compare it to what they already have with Waterfall. Like, just honestly, for any Kagero players out there, they're veterans. They probably either sympathize with me or completely disagree with me because I have no clue. But in my opinion, if you're a Kagero player and you're watching this and you actually take what I say, you actually take my advice, I would say don't run Nouvelle or any of the cards they got with the PSYqualia Strife booster.
I'd run maybe one.
It literally doesn't benefit you anything. Like, if you ride Nouvelle and you don't kill them that turn, the only benefit you have is your 15k base, and that's it. You stop some Excel clans, you get more defense out of it, but that's it. If you're running one Nouvelle, you're boned because Nouvelle has to Soul Blast a grade 3 or greater. And unless you've been rewriting like Overlords or even Waterfalls, but if you're rewriting Waterfalls, why aren't you using Waterfall skill? Like unless you've been rewriting Overlords and then you go into Nouvelle and you have that grade 3 or greater soul to use his effect multiple times in multiple turns. If you're only running one Nouvelle, it's pointless. So you literally have to build a deck around him to where if you don't have a grade 3 or greater, you can at least rewrite another Nouvelle and do the skill again.
I guess.
Like, this is just my heartfelt opinion.
I mean, you can say the same thing about blasters, though. If you don't have a blaster blade at all in soul or hand, you're going to literally lose if you don't get them.
But then you don't do Exculpate skill. And you don't need multiple Exculpates. You literally, if you have the conditions, you can just use one Exculpate. And if you don't have the conditions, you can always just use Exculpate for a Perfect Guard cost.
I guess.
That's literally the difference. Nouvelle is literally, it's not an add-on to Kagero. It's, you have to build the deck around him. Exculpate is literally just an add-on to Royal Paladins. Like, you don't have to run him, but if you do, you just have another option. Like, your deck is completely the same, you just have an extra option to do something that's actually really, really good. Like board wipe. That's the only other thing about Nouvelle that I actually like. It's a board wipe, but you or your opponent also have to be at 5 damage. And some decks don't care if you board wipe them. Like when we played this, I board wiped your field, I didn't kill you, you just called a new one and just hit me.
True.
Like, on Exculpate though, you don't care if you Soul Blast all. I mean, if you really want to do later Soul Saver and kill them like that, sure. But you can, if you see you're in a good spot, you can literally just Soul Blast everything, kill all the rear guards, attack with a grade 4, rewrite Blaster, probably has force markers underneath, you probably have a full field, so he has double critical. Like, it's a threat. And then if they survive, and you survive their turn, I'm just going to rewrite this new grade 3 now and start my shenanigans all over again.
I guess, but I don't know. Like, I see pros and cons for both.
I just see more cons on Nouvelle's side, unfortunately.
I can see why. Just because once you use Nouvelle, you're stuck on it.
Exactly.
You can't do anything else past that.
Exactly. Like the only downside, like if you think of it this way, Nouvelle and the support he got in the set is actually really good if you build a deck around him. But again, for Kagero, do you really want to build a deck around him when you have Waterfall as an example? But on the other hand, Royals, you can put Exculpate in the deck and be completely fine. But the add-ons to Exculpate for an Exculpate-based deck are really bad in my opinion. Because of two things. One, the grade 2 is like the grade 1 for Kagero. If you have the grade 4, you can put it back to deck and search out a grade 3 instead. Like, you know, it helps you set up. Mm-hmm. The reason I say that grade 2 is bad is because of the card that it searches out, and that's Alfred Early. And like you said before, if you don't have that condition of Blaster Blade for Exculpate, Alfred Early is technically minusing you. Because he calls a Blaster Blade from your soul. That you could have, used for later for Exculpate. Like that's a downside I see about the grade 2. And then the grade 1, we all know the downside of the grade 1.
But hey, I mean, at least it could, be great now if you run.
It'd be great if the skill goes off. It'd also be great if I won like $50,000 tomorrow. Chances. The grade 1 has better chances, but how many times did that actually happen?
Hardly any.
Exactly.
But yeah, the only other exciting thing other than the leaks is Char Expo happened, so now those fancy Blaster Darks, Blaster Blades, and
Kagero. The Vanguardians group is getting flooded with those.
Those are out in the wild. You probably, as of right now, they're probably going for about 25 to 30 a piece. If you want to pick them up.
Yup.
I mean, they're pretty.
Covered the week's leaks and said that the Ancient Truth is going to end soon and we're going to see the high school. Covered your experience at ARG, not really, actually.
We'll talk about that more, probably around the deck profile and stuff.
Let me just sum the ARG up. They went in without me. I'm salty. The end.
You can watch the video here.
Yeah, pretty much. What's so hard? Now I gotta put an info card up there again. Damn it. Anyway, this man makes a lot of work for me, like always, so we're just gonna skip that. So, that happened, and that happened. That's it, I think.
That's pretty much it.
Fun episode, more ranting.
So I guess we'll see you guys next week, and by then we'll probably start.
Well, a few things are going to happen next week. I'm going to mention this just real quick. In today's episode of Vanguard, like not episode V-Time, episode of the Vanguard anime, we finally saw the club starting to form. We saw little hints of Ezo cards. We saw Murakami, and we're going to see Murakami versus Gold Paladin in the next episode. So we're going to definitely talk about that.
Our boy Noki, and we'll finally get to see if Murakami finally gets a new mechanic or not.
It's going to be fun either way you look at it, and we actually might see what Ezo can do in the anime. Because the anime always plays a little bit differently than real life. But yeah, that's for the next episode. More leaks, of course, in the next episode. And if anything else drastic happens, I'm sorry, I am foreign. English is not my first language. Anywho, if anything else happens, we'll let you know, like always.
This is Alex.
Boy, there's a process. You just be the cameraman and the pretty face. I'll handle the content like we saw.
Cut.
No cuts. And people will see this. People will know. You will know. Anywho, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, watch more of our videos, and watch these idiots have fun. Well, I don't know where he's pointing, but I'm going to hit him. I've been Philip.
This is the guy who gets hit.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Goodbye.
Woo! What the fuck? I swear to God, I will.
This is the guy who gets hit.